It's an honour to be able to share this milestone with this club. I have a lot of affection for this club and love for this club. It's a fantastic place to be, and I've learnt a lot while I've been here. It's been a great journey. I started the journey 23 years ago or so. I had these aspirations to be a speaker, but I hadn't spoken before. And I got invited to do a talk at a networking group with business people. I had no business experience. I was a sports person who had experience in various modalities in the field of personal development. So I felt confident enough to go along and assert myself. And I turned up, and as I turned up, some old schemas and insecurities had sort of brewed under the surface. And I turned up literally, and as I walk in, it was almost like being back at school, all these suits and ties. And here was my chance. I just desired to be a trainer and a speaker. And here I was, speaking to an audience. And literally, I felt like this. Where can I hide? Please, ground, swallow me up, so to speak. But there was nowhere to go. And I heard in the background a couple of hecklers. They were giggling. I thought, goodness me, what are they giggling at? Have I got my fly down or type thing, and what's going on? And noticing they giggled, they must have sensed the nervous energy. So I sort of literally tried to hide myself behind here. I'm speaking about leadership in business and so on and so forth, and the heckling got louder. And to make matters worse, they had an interim break, and they went for a few drinks. And when they came back in, the heckling turned more into jeering. And I stood there. Now, for me, as a sports person, a proud sports person, I could comfortably compete in front of as many people as you like, or care to be there. Because I felt in my element. It was my domain. It was around people who made me feel safe and secure. But in this environment I've never been in before, I felt like I'd been thrown to the sharks. I felt like I'd literally walked a plank, so to speak, and here I was, and there's these damn sharks down there, and I get thrown in there, and I'm swimming with these sharks, and literally like that. And the moral of the story is that I'd like to say to you that after that speech, I grew in confidence. I'd like to say to you that after that speech I went home and brushed it off, but I didn't. It took me months to rebuild my confidence and just even contemplate this desire to want to be a speaker. Now see, for them, that heckling might not mean a lot. To them, they would have got up the next morning and gone to their secure jobs and gone about their business. To me, it was like this feeling of inadequacy. It opened up so many old wounds for me. The next speech I did, I'd like to say went magnificently well. The next speech I did was to a plant, an actual plant at home. And I spoke to the plant, and I could hear the plant laughing, as you do. But unlike Toastmasters, where people laugh with you, there's a difference between being laughed at, in the sense that in a different environment. And for me, it made me realize, okay, I'm going to join a group and get around proximity. And I joined the group at the time, not like Toastmasters, they were a speaking group, and I developed and carried on going, and bit by bit, step by step, until eventually I did get opportunities and engagement to speak again, and I developed myself, and my lifelong journey in academia commenced, and I'd share some of my findings and my experience over many, many years. And I've been very privileged to work in many continents and speak to many big establishments in sport, in business, in personal developments. And I know some of you asked me about some of the speaking engagements I do around the world. I've just come back from a tour, and I go back on another tour, and I speak for many organisations out there. And even to this day, there are times that I get the butterflies. And you've probably seen myself priming myself before I do a talk now to get those butterflies to fly in formation. Because I truly believe if we can turn that nervous energy into a positive and embrace it, it makes for a better speech. I truly believe exposing our vulnerability makes us human, and we can develop from that. And I truly believe that you put it out there. And whilst I don't wish that experience on anybody else, and it wasn't easy, there are things you can control and there are things you can't control. And give me the strength to control the things I can and let go of what I can't. But if you stick to your guns and you keep going, and you keep focused, then eventually you will get there. You're not going to be for everybody, I'm afraid, but you're going to be for some people. And I'm well aware in my field, in the field I work in, I don't appeal to everybody, but there's a lot of people I do appeal to. And I set my stall out, and I give everything for them, and I leave nothing in the tank. So I knew at that moment that I would become a speaker. So I thought to myself, if that's the worst that can happen, and I've got over that, then I've got the resources internally to overcome anything else that comes my way. Then a few years ago I decided, you know what, I've been on the road, I've been speaking. I decided that I wanted to keep growing as a speaker. As a professional in my field, I had the respect and authority, and I felt, let me go somewhere where I can just blend in anonymously with my hat and jeans, very unlikely, and just sort of blend in there. And I joined Toastmasters, and tonight being my milestone, it's been a tremendous journey, a learning journey. Every 1,000-mile journey starts with the first step, and you learn a lot. We're always learning, and I always grade my own speeches out of 10 and look at ways to improve. And I get the privilege to see other speakers too, some great speakers, particularly in this group here. I've seen many, many great speakers who've been around for a while, and many people who are starting their journey as well. And the experience of some of the speakers here and the ability to connect and learn from them, but also seeing some of the young up-and-coming or people who are just beginning their journey, the energy they bring in. It's phenomenal to get that vibe and get that energy. There's a great energy in this group, and you can always learn something of everyone. So there's no real message in the sense that sometimes we don't know what we're going to say until we say it. But the theme was to inspire. So hopefully, by sharing a snippet, a soundbite of my own journey, for some of you guys who are just speaking on your journey and you want to go down that road, I've been able to share a vulnerability and an experience in my own life. And the next time some of you guys tune in and on social media, and when some of those streams go out when I'm speaking, wherever I speak around the world, and you might log into YouTube and see that, you can know that at one point in my journey, and even to this point, there are butterflies, that nervous energy, and that's what keeps certainly me grounded as a speaker. That focus, that belief that we can always improve. There's always room to be a better version of ourselves. We're never the finished article. And sometimes your biggest adversity turns out to be your defining moment, because you get to a roundabout and you can go one way, the other way. And you can fall off your horse, and you can get knocked off, and you can stay down. And if you stay down, the world loses out on someone else of a key message. So my message would be, believe in yourself. And I know that sounds trite and conceived, and we see it every day, and every person, everywhere, anywhere on social media puts these quotes about believing in yourself. But truly, take a moment to believe in yourself, because the things in life that you overcome, at one point, you didn't know how to walk as a baby, but you kept on going. And it's a good job you didn't have parents that said, when you fell over, stop trying now. You've fallen over once, give up. They kept encouraging you. And at one point, you didn't have to speak, and now you can speak. And some of you can speak 2, 3, even several languages. At one point in my life, some of the biggest issues I had as a speaker, I wasn't very academic growing up. Truth be told, there were many things I didn't know. I didn't know the alphabet. I didn't even know noun from a verb. Until eventually I would go down the academic road. And I've been a lifelong learner and probably studied about 4 hours a day over a period of a number of years, and written 3 best-selling books and many resource manuals. And that's just through that desire, that belief to keep going incrementally and just run your own race and stay focused. It's not about competing against anybody else, it's being the best you can be. And this is a great environment to be in, to feel safe, to be that plant, to nourish the plant, to be able to develop your own skills in your own time, in your own pace, and learn from people. Learn from people around us. That's the biggest thing for me. So I feel privileged to share this milestone with you guys. I've spoken at several other Toastmasters around the globe, and this really is one of my favourite ones for sure. It's been a great privilege and honour to share this message with you guys, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy, for inspiring us. Now it is time for